Well, I'm very glad to be here today to talk to Professor Zeynep Ayata from Turkey, from Koç University. She came to Brazil to take part of the global program, the global law program of FGV, and she's teaching now a course about global competition law. So, Professor Zeynep, first of all, I'm very happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here.
And so my first question is about what is exactly the content of your course in the global law program?
Okay. Again, thank you very much for having me. So the course that I'm teaching at the moment at FGV is a course on global competition law. And what does the course entail? It's a comparative approach to competition law. And in the course, we look at the basic concepts, the basic prohibitions in competition law from the US antitrust law point of view and from the EU competition law point of view. So in the globe, there are two general systems of competition law, the main systems that have influenced other countries. So that's why we think that they are the most important enforcement systems of competition law. And so one of them is the US antitrust law, which is where we have the first legislation on antitrust in the world. It dates back to more than 125 years. And we also have a very elaborate and sophisticated competition enforcement in the EU. So that's the other system. And most countries in the world, most other countries in the world, have either adopted the US antitrust enforcement system or the EU competition law system. So if we want to look at competition law globally, these are the two sources of competition law that we have. And in the course, we look at the basic concepts that are common, but also we look at what is different on the two sides of the Atlantic. We discuss which countries have adopted which system. For instance, my students here at FGV, I have learned quite a bit of things from them, have informed me that Brazil has adopted the EU competition law system. It's the same thing in Turkey, by the way. We have also adopted the EU competition law system. And so they also give me examples from practice and enforcement in Brazil. It's very interesting. And so we look at the different legislation, we look at the different enforcement mechanisms such as private enforcement, public enforcement of competition law. We look at what's prohibited under competition law. We do quite a bit of microeconomics, but that's natural when you do antitrust law. So, and a lot of the students have actually already taken courses on microeconomics, so it's going really well. And I would like to take this opportunity to say that I'm very impressed with the students at FGV. They have been asking very good questions, making very clever comments, and they're very interactive. They're never too shy to ask a question or to stop me and tell me what they think about what I've said, to state their opinion. So it's, so far it's been a real pleasure for me too.
Well, and besides being a visiting professor, Professor Zeynep is also the chairperson of the Global League of Law Schools, of the business group. I am part of this business group. She is my boss in these activities. So can you tell us a little bit about what exactly is the business group and what are the activities or researches that are currently developed by this group of professors? Okay.
So I want to start by saying that you used to be my boss. Wanderley has done a wonderful job at chairing the group for 2 years, and before he passed it on to me. And I hope that it doesn't feel like I am a boss. I try to be just a convener in the group. Perhaps I can start by saying a few things about the Law Schools Global League itself. It's a league of law faculties, law schools around the globe, and Koç University, where I am a full-time professor, is one of them. And so is FGV. It's one of the founding members, as far as I know. And we have members from across Europe, from the United States, from Latin America, from Africa, China. So we have really an incredible variety of jurisdictions and people working in these jurisdictions, practicing law and obviously teaching law and doing research in law. And the Law Schools Global League has, a summer school for students that changes its location every year, but it also has a lot of groups that are composed of administrative staff, and the deans come together and they discuss their vision of law schools. But apart from that, we also have the working groups that you have mentioned. As far as I know, there are 4 of them. So I'm currently the chair of the Business and Law Working Group. What do the working groups do? It's, I think, before anything else, it's an excellent opportunity for people to sort of widen their research topics and be able to adopt a more comparative and a more global and at times more international point of view in their research. So we have members from different institutions, and what we try to do is we come up with a research topic every year, and sometimes it's going to last for 2 years, but we find an original research topic every year, and we try to write a common paper between the members of the group, and sometimes the group's members will actually from that take on their individual research, or they will join up with another member of the group and write and sort of discuss the topic. And obviously, hopefully, it leads to a publication by the end of the year. And so we've had that in the past in the group. There's been some papers that have been published. The other groups have also accomplished quite sort of impressive work in terms of publication. This year, I think we have a very exciting topic. I mean, we've had exciting topics all along, so I mean, who am I to judge? But so this year we are going to be working on a relatively new phenomenon called the sharing economy. And the sharing economy, the most important examples are Uber, Airbnb, and there are quite a few others in quite a few different sort of services, sectors and industry. And it's an interesting topic for us lawyers because it's mainly unregulated in most countries. So they develop in sort of in areas which are not regulated. There is not much sort of legislation. Which brings about issues of liability, of taxation, of market regulation, etc. And so this year we have proposed, the group proposes to look into what's going on in our different jurisdictions. So Brazil, Italy, Germany, Turkey, in many different jurisdictions, with the regulation of Uber, which is sort of pretty much the first and most important,
and by the
largest
by coincidence,
sharing economy
yesterday,
company.
The Brazilian Congress approved the law regulating Uber.
Excellent.
Yesterday, and now the
and I
local
sent
governments.
the template yesterday for the,
so you already
for the
have
research, so it was perfect timing. Yeah. So I mean, we see that across the world. I mean, in all of these jurisdictions, there are either new regulations that are adopted or suggested by the legislators, or they carry on operating in sort of areas that are not regulated. Some people argue that sharing economy companies should not be regulated. Some people argue that it should be regulated. So there's a lot of debate going on. So we'll see how our work goes and ends. But so this is what we're doing this year.
Yeah.
And we are going to have the annual meeting in Mexico City at ITAM University, and we will be presenting our common paper in the annual meeting at the academic conference.
Good. So, Professor Zeynep, thank you very much for your participation, and we are very glad to have you here. We hope you can come back in the future.
So too.
And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.